Welcome to the Sweeper Summit Gutter Talk podcast series, the podcast where the street sweeping industry gets real. Each month, we sit down with the people shaping the trade, business owners, manufacturers, industry thought leaders, even municipality decision makers, pushing the work and clean city missions forward. Whether you're running crews, building product, or just getting your business off the ground, this is where the views are exchanged and where learned value gets real. Now, let's get into the conversation.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gutter Talk. I'm Timm Morrison, your host. I'm Sweeper Man. You might have heard somebody say at one point or another in your life, get your mind out of the gutter. Now, we're going to go the other way with that. We want your mind in the gutter today. We're talking proverbial gutter and all things sweeping. And we are pleased to be joined today by our good friend Doug Sauder from C.A.T.S Sweeping in New Jersey there. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. All good.
Oh, good. Thanks so much, first of all, for taking time out to join us on Gutter Talk. Let's jump in the time machine here and go back a little bit. You graduate Villanova University. Yeah. Wildcat, right?
Correct.
Probably an accurate description, maybe back in the day. 1988, you start into the sweeping business. So, Doug, here we are 35 plus years later. That gives you a little different perspective on the business. You know, you've seen not only the technological advancements that have happened with the trucks, which is even over the past few years amazing, but you've seen all the changes from the business side, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. From the business perspective, for us, you need to make decisions, or at least I felt like I needed to make a decision as to which avenue do you want to go in the sweeper business, because there are several avenues to choose from. And we had chosen the heavier duty sweeping, such as dirt and road maintenance or road reconstruction. So the dirt piece of it was the housing, the new housing.
Right.
That existed because there is soil erosion control rules that required the builder to sweep the streets that were under construction during each phase, whether it be once a week, twice a week, 3 days a week. From there, we expanded into the milling and paving operations, as far as following the mill, prep for paves, so forth. From there, we got into special events such as concerts, which is, I don't know if that was the wisest move, because there was some crazy people at 2 a.m. that were still hanging out. We touched into the municipalities here and there, but not too much. For me, and this is just personal preference, that work was bid work. And, there's some crazy numbers that come out, and I really wasn't interested in spending my time on something that I wasn't going to get anyway.
Right.
So we kind of, in the early stages, decided we weren't going to be bidding work, so to speak. We just took the approach that here's our rates, and we're good at what we do, and we still operate that way today. Much later, we got into the parking lot sweeping business, and I can tell you, I didn't do as well as I wanted to do until we were able to expand the services to those property owners. But when it came to just the sweeping, it was tough.
How did you expand, though? I mean, talk to somebody that's watching right now that's thinking about, expanding their business into that. What was it that got you over the hump? What took it to the next level for you?
We acquired a small company. And with that, we got 53 shopping centers, of which in the first month, I so-called fired the customer and got us down to about 37.
Gotcha.
And I fired them because the contract with the guy that I bought from had expired. We did this acquisition in 2016. There was contracts that had expired in 1994, and he was still at the same rate. One customer I called and I said, "Hey, we're the new owners, and your price is now X per sweep." And they said, "Well, you're tripling it." I said, "Buddy, you've been getting a great deal for a long time." Well,
Right.
and we lost it, and I was fine with it. And we started to get to figure it out, but it was offering the other services that really was helpful. And what I mean by that is, obviously the obvious stuff like power washing and cleaning out stores, and a storm comes through and you do a storm cleanup. But then it evolved into being more like the eyes of the center, and that worked well with property owners that were not in the state where the shopping center was. For instance, property manager could be in Georgia or upstate New York or in California. And we would do things like, they want to know, they buy a shopping center. In one case, they bought a shopping center and they didn't know anything about the HVAC units. So we went up on the roof and took pictures and assessed, in our way, was it usable, not usable, and so forth.
Right.
And, saved them a lot of time. And then that turned into almost like a worksheet, a tick mark legend of what's good, what's bad at the center, and then that kind of evolved into, hey, we should use this for everybody. And then we started doing that, filling out these reports periodically and saying, here's your problems. Stop signs faded, stop signs bent, crooked. It's gone altogether. Curbs broken. Hey, your striping's getting pretty bad out here. That kind of stuff. And then we just started kind of, instead of trying to do everything in-house, we started subbing out and just becoming kind of manage the process. It depends on the owner and the customer. Some owners of several shopping centers will say, that's what I have property managers for. But then, there's some property managers that are just stretched so thin, they can't really keep their eye on the ball like it needs to be. And we kind of filled that gap.
Sure. Well, I gotta ask you. I saw a video of you online. Tell me if I'm mistaken here. You guys were filling in potholes. Was that
Yeah.
AI, or were you really doing that?
No, we were really doing that. There was a product out there that was like a cold patch.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you really didn't need heat, although heat helped, and we would use blow torches to provide heat on that. But there's several different brands out there, and these people were a customer of ours for the sweeping side, and then they got into this cold patch business and asked me to do a little commercial for them. That was, I don't know, 2013 probably.
Right. Well, it stood out for me when I saw the video because we had a kind of an unusually harsh winter here in the Midwest, and some of the roads around. I mean, it looks like a war zone where I'm at. And when I see people out filling in potholes, I just want to go hug them because it's been pretty bad. Now, another story that I read about Doug Sauder joining us here on Gutter Talk today is you came up with an idea. Sweeping industry by and large is helping the environment. I mean, you're cleaning streets, you're making life safer for your family, my family, our community, our city. But you took it to the next level and came up with an idea to repurpose or recycle old used brushes. And I think they went to a llama farm. Am I correct?
It was actually cows. It was cows.
Oh, okay. Because
Cows and pigs.
It stuck out to me. I'm like, I wonder if Doug has got a llama. And
No llamas. No.
the animal to have, I don't know, but llama just stuck it. So it was cattle.
It was cows and pigs, and they were used. The farmers use them for back scratchers,
Gotcha.
just so that, And the problem is, and that's when we were buying a certain type of broom. It was a tube broom, all one piece,
right?
And they were hard to dispose of. But with the housing that's occurred, especially in New Jersey, the farms are gone. There's not one big farm left in my area. So Um, we switched because they were so hard to get rid of. We switched to what's known as the strip broom now. A little easier, a lot easier to dispose of. Now, I did try. Here's a funny thing. Everybody's so big on recycling, right? I got a recycling center that is literally 5 minutes away. And I went there with one strip and I showed the plant manager. I said, I have these and I want to bring these over for recycling. And it's a plastics recycling center. And he said, we can't take that. And I said, I don't understand. Why can't you take it? It's plastic. He goes, we just can't take that. I said, so you want me to throw it in the dumpster? Yes. And I said, that's going to the landfill. Yes. Okay. So I tried.
Yep, all you could do. Talking today with Doug Sauder. Gutter Talk, Doug, with cat sweeping in New Jersey. You're in the Delaware Valley there, right?
Correct.
Let's talk to 1-800-SWEEPER members here for just a second. I've got a couple of questions that I'm going to end our interview here on. Number one, we've got some great new companies that have recently joined the family. We've got Elite Sweeping in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We've got First Facility in Oklahoma City, United Sweeping in Jackson, Mississippi. Just some great guys, very hungry, and gals, very hungry to grow the business and take it to the next level. Part of 1-800-SWEEPER, not only are you putting the name on the side of the truck and the number there that you'll generate the leads, but in your experience, Doug, the wealth of information that is with you in particular that have been doing this since 1988 up till present, the wealth of information and the support and the guidance that you guys carry on and give that to the next generation, the next up and coming companies is remarkable. What's some good advice to tell somebody that wants to, they're taking those baby steps right now, but they want to grow their business? What do they do?
Well, there's quite a few ways to answer that, but the one I'd put at the top would be, first of all, I became a 1-800-SWEEPER member, original member in 2011, I believe it was.
Right.
So I don't remember how old I was then, but I was considered the younger generation. And through the sweeper summits, which I think began in 2012, I would tap the ear of the older guys and find out, how did you do this? How did you do that? Some of them I took and ran with. Some of those I analyzed and said, well, I don't know I want to do exactly like that, but I can do something. I can get something out of it. So, the short story is the summit provides the opportunity for everybody, regardless of your experience level, to potentially walk away with something you never thought of. And sometimes I've walked away with like, wow, I can't believe that simple thing I never thought of and what a big impact it could have or ended up having. So, and this is what I love the most about 800-SWEEPER. I love the leads. Sure. Do I love getting discounts on my purchases? Sure. But for me, the value is the information that I get from others. And now, I don't know how this happened, but I'm the old guy now. So, and I have no problem. I feel old. And
well, you got boyish charm. You got the movie star good one going. So stop it.
But to the younger generation, I suggest my recommendation is that they do what I did and just ask questions. And there's plenty of time at the summit. There's plenty of downtime. There's plenty of free time, and just get to know people. Everybody's great. Everybody loves to share information. And that would be my number one recommendation.
It truly is. It seems like everybody's on the same path. We're all headed in the same direction. And there's a celebrated story of one of your members, and I know he's a good friend of yours, that he had ran into challenges, obstacles he couldn't overcome. And he came to the summit hoping to get an answer and, solve those problems. It didn't happen. 3 days after, he stood up with resolve to sell the company. He went up to a bar. He's from Boston. He went up to the bar, and a couple of guys said, "How you doing?" He said, "Not good. I've got some problems with my company." One of the guys put his arm around him and said, "Let me help you. Let's figure this out." And they got him a lead that led to 5 leads, that led to 5 more, to 5 more, to 5 more. And here we are, short time later. He's going to be named, I think, the NAPSA president in the near future. So, it's what you talk about, that networking, that synergy. To me, that represents 1-800-SWEEPER as well. And, whether you're one of the new guys or old guys, it's pretty cool that you're able to pass that knowledge on.
Yeah, and that experience has always been a part of 1-800-SWEEPER. But what's really cool now is that 1-800-SWEEPER has experience. It's been around since 2011.
Right.
And there's plenty of people that have been there for the long haul. And, that first sweeper summit was kind of like just throwing crap on the wall and let's see what happens, And
right.
we were in a sea bin, a carpeted sea bin, with round tables. And now look what we're doing,
I know that they showed up with crock pots of food that fed everybody that showed up to the summit in Memphis. I think it was in Memphis, right?
Correct. In a parking lot.
Yeah. You talk about throwing it against the wall. It must have stuck because here we are with the San Antonio La Cantera Resort and Spa. Have you ever been, Doug? Have you been there?
Been to San Antonio. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for it. But now, before I let you go, I said there was 2-part. There's one final thing I ask all our guests on Gutter Talk. What is the one piece of advice? Now, you got to go back, and I'll give you a minute to think about this. And go back and think the one piece of advice that somebody gave you that was transformative. It was so profound that it maybe had a general effect on your life in general or applied to business. The one piece of advice that truly changed, it moved the needle for you with business and life, what would that be? You don't have to tell us who it came from, but maybe just the word of advice that you got along the way that has got you to where you are in cat sweeping in 2026. One of the major players with 1-800-SWEEPER.
So I'll go the business route on this answer, which was many years ago, probably 2005 or 6. My financial advisor said, "You got to stop letting the customers run your business." And I said, well, that's just part of our service, and that's how we do things. Sure. And he said, "But you're killing yourself, and you're going to burn yourself out. You've got to coach the customers of how things operate in your business. You don't have to yes them all the time. It doesn't mean you tell them no, but you direct them in a direction that befits how you run your business." I didn't do it right away, but I did do it about 10 years later, and I really wish I had done it sooner because the customers don't even realize that I coach them to how I want to do things, and they didn't even know I did it. And now it's a process, and I love processes. Processes are good.
Absolutely. And that's why we watched to the end of Gutter Talk. That kind of advice right there. Doug Sauder, Cat Sweeping, thank you so much. We'll see you in San Antonio at the Sweeper Summit, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. And we'll see you next time on Gutter Talk. I'm Timm Morrison, Sweeper Man. Thanks for tuning in.
That's a wrap on this episode of Gutter Talk. If today's conversation gave you something useful, pass it along to someone else in the trade, and make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen. We'll be back next month with another deep dive. Until then, keep cleaning, keep moving, and keep business top of mind.